This is the Cupra Raval. It is the third all-electric model line in Cupra's portfolio after the Born hatchback and the Tavascan Coupe SUV. Now this is a really important little car because Cupra is actually leading the development for the rest of the Volkswagen group. So in essence, the Cupra Raval will become the Volkswagen ID Polo and the ID Cross, and it will also become the Skoda Epic. So we're here at Cupra's headquarters in Martorell to try the car out for the first time. It's a front-wheel drive on the MEB Plus platform. It's slated to start from €26,000 in Europe. We're here to give it a quick drive and find out a little bit more about it. Okay, so as you can see, the car is heavily camouflaged, so we can't really tell you much about the styling. You can inform what you can from what you can see. Obviously, there's a certain similarity to the Born in the headlights and the angles down the side of it, but we're not talking about the styling today. We also can't show you anything in the interior. That's all going to be shown at a later date at the international reveal. So what we'll try and do is talk through some of the range and some of the few figures we've got about the Raval. There are three models which are called the Dynamic Plus, and then the VZ Extreme. The Dynamic comes with 18-inch wheels. It's got a 210 horsepower electric motor, and it will do about 450 kilometers to a charge. We don't have any 0 to 100 km/h times, top speeds, size of the battery, charging speeds at the moment. All details still to be finalized. So that's your entry point anyway, and that's the car that should cost about €26,000 across Europe. We have to wait and see what it's going to be in our market. If you step up to the Dynamic Plus, you get 19-inch wheels. You get a lot more kit as well. You get matrix LED headlights. You get some bucket seats inside in Dynamica. And there's also a Sennheiser 12-speaker premium audio system, so that's quite a nice kit. But the car we're here to drive today is the VZ Extreme. Now that's top of the tree, basically. That gets a different design of 19-inch wheel. It gets some proper cup bucket seats inside. There's an electronic limited slip diff, but the important thing is that one gets more power. It's 226 horsepower in that model, so it's going to be the quickest version of the Cupra Raval. The thing is, you do lose a little bit of range. It comes down to about 400 kilometers on this car, but still very promising. They're your three specs, rough idea of what they're all going to look like. Okay, here we are in the Cupra Raval. We're in a VZ model here. This is the 226 horsepower flagship model, the hottest model of the Cupra. It has a range of about 400 kilometers. We've not been told battery size yet. We've not been told 0 to 100 km/h times. This is a very early drive of the Raval. But this is the car that's going to form the basis of all of the Volkswagen Group city range, or the more affordable range of front-wheel drive electric cars. So this is on the MEB Plus platform, but it's front driven, it's not rear wheel drive, which is what you've had with previous electric vehicles from within the group. But it's Cupra that's leading the way. So Cupra has developed this Raval, and then from this, Volkswagen will use it for the ID Polo and the ID Cross. Skoda will use it for the Epic. So basically it's Cupra that's taken the lead on this, that's developed this car, and from our early drive of it, absolutely brilliant job they've done on it. So one of the big talking points we'll start with is that this is the first EV from the group that has got disc brakes at the rear as well as on the front. So normally they have drums on the back because most of the work is done by the regenerative braking up front. That results in the most natural feeling brake pedal we've ever encountered in an EV. It's really, really organic. You can bleed on power and get your stopping power just right with the car, yet you still get all of those EV benefits of one pedal driving. There are two settings for the drive mode of D and B, overarching settings for the gearbox. In D you can have 4 different ranges of braking power, so completely off, where the car just coasts like an ICE car would when you come off the power and the brakes. And then that goes up to 3, where there's a strong level of regenerative, but the car will still creep when you get down to very low speeds. Above that is B, where there are 2 settings, 1 and 2. And in both of those you get full one pedal driving. The car comes to a complete stop. But in any of these modes you want, whatever you want there, the brakes just feel really, really organic. It also has dynamic chassis control adjustable suspension, so DCC. As we've seen in other Volkswagen Group products, that's a 15 setting DCC with 3 main settings, which are called Comfort, Performance and Cupra. So you can, if you just click through on the drive mode switches here on the steering wheel, we can't talk too much about the interior because the interior is actually cloaked off to us at the moment. We've only seen little bits of it. That's going to be revealed at a later date. But if you switch through the drive modes here on the steering wheel, there are 5 in total called Range, Comfort, Performance, Cupra, and then Individual, which is your custom setting. If you go through those, you will get the 3 main suspension settings, but you can then tailor those in the individual setting to exactly what you want. But even in 15, the firmest, the car's ride is not unbearable. In comfort mode, it's got a real nice, smooth compliance, and just generally, this rides really, really well. You can feel it's firm, like a Cupra. It's got to be a sporty car. It's got an underlying firmness to it. Obviously, the car we're in is on 19-inch wheels. The standard Cupra Raval will get 18s, but when you get up to the more dynamic models at the top, and then this VZ flagship with the 226 horsepower motor, it gets 19-inch wheels. But the ride, we've gone over some speed bumps, we've ridden over sort of ridged white lines in the road to check what it feels like. The ride is just really comfortable. This is a really, really nicely sorted car dynamically, because on the other side of things, it handles brilliantly. It's really good fun. It has an electronic limited slip diff on the front axle. So basically it will pull you in on a corner. If you put the power on it, instead of pushing wide into what we call understeer, it pulls you into the corner, and it's really, really involving. We like the steering. The steering's really good. There's a nice meat and weight to it. There's no slop in it whatsoever. It's really immediate in its responses. Also, another feature, you might pick it up slightly. We're in performance mode here, which is the step down from Cupra. Cupra has generated a sound for the car, so I'll try it now. You can hear that when it comes on with acceleration. Now that gets louder in Cupra, so let's try that again in Cupra, and you should hear, it's kind of like, it sounds a little bit like Porsche electronic sports sound on a Taycan, which is high praise, by the way. It's a properly sort of EV sound thing. They've not tried to simulate an engine whatsoever, but give you a little blast of it here. So this is full power, and it just adds that little layer to the car, that instead of sort of driving it quickly, but you just listen to the whoosh of a near silent electric car, you've got a little bit of noise there. Obviously that is switchable. It goes off completely if you go into comfort or range mode. The car goes back to silent. It also deactivates when you're coasting, so it's not making a noise when you come off the throttle. It's only under acceleration it does it, but it just brings a little bit extra to the experience. And some people will dislike it, some people might not use it, but we're really glad it's there. So an example here is I've gone back into comfort mode as we come down this hill, and I'm now in D with absolutely no regenerative braking on. This car is just coasting, it's just going along. In fact, it's picking up speed here on this slight downhill, completely like a combustion car. It feels very, very, it's a strange word to use for it, but it feels very, very ordinary to drive like this. There's less of that feeling of it being an EV and something different. It's a very organic car. It feels natural when you want to throw it around. We've been throwing it around on a little twisty road, and it's great fun. It's quick without being stupidly fast. It picks up to 100 km/h really, really smoothly and rapidly, but it's not going to put you in a situation where, if you want to exploit its powertrain, you're going to be flirting with the laws of legality. It's just a really, really well-judged car. So initial impressions are very, very impressive. I think this is one of the best small EVs I've driven in terms of driver involvement and all-round usability. It feels like a really quality product. Like I say, we can't see a huge amount of the interior here, but I'm sitting in some very nice cup bucket seats at the moment, which support you The steering wheel is lovely, it's a nice size, it feels good in your hands. I can see there's switch gear in here, physical switch gear. You know, we've got digital screens. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to get in too much trouble. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very good car when this comes. Pricing is going to start from 26,000 euros across Europe. Obviously, we will need to wait and see for our individual markets how that's affected. And the VZ will not be £26,000. That's for the base model. But even the two entry-level models get 210 horsepower, and they will do 450 kilometres thereabouts on range. As I say, this one is 400 kilometres. You pay a little payoff for getting that extra performance. Final figure to note there is torque on this car is 290 Nm, so that's quite sizable. As I say, we've got no performance stats yet, but it feels in the 6 secondish region, I'd say, for 0 to 100 km/h, about that sort of pace, 6.5 maybe, I'm guessing. But yeah, first impressions are incredibly favourable. This is a quality little item. It does everything very well. There's nothing at the moment that's particularly annoying us. Obviously, we're not using the ADAS functions and the infotainment because this is purely about the driving experience. But from the work they've done so far, Cupra's engineers can rightly be very proud. This is an excellent car, and if it's going to form the basis of the VW ID Polo and the Skoda Epic and other models in the range, then they're all going to get a very, very good car as well. So yeah, top marks to the Cupra Raval. So that is our first brief look and drive of the Cupra Raval. It's really, really good to drive. They've done a fantastic job on this car. It does everything very well and nothing badly at all. We're particularly impressed with the brake system on it. Obviously, those rear disc brakes make for a completely natural pedal feel. Really good car to drive. It balances off dynamic handling like a Cupra with usable day-to-day comfort as you would expect of a Super Mini like this. So yeah, initial impressions are incredibly favourable for the Cupra Raval. We're really looking forward to seeing it unveiled, seeing the interior, finding out more about battery specs and performance and that kind of thing. But from this initial showing, this is going to be a really, really good little EV.